Welcome to Scarlet Anomaly Reads, where I show you a special edition or just a beautiful edition of a book that I have that I love. Now, the book that I'm about to show you is just a library binding that I got, but honestly, out of all of the versions of this book, it is hands down my favorite, so I don't really care. Hopefully, I see Josh at a convention next year and I can get him to sign it, because this one is not signed by anybody but the stamp in the library, but we're going to ignore that. It's Birdbox. This is my favorite copy, hands down. And I'm about to show you why. So when you take off the slipcase cover thingy, you see this. It's not freaking fantabulous. Like, this is my favorite copy. Like, I don't care. Like, I know there's more expensive copies. I know there are crazier copies. I actually happen to have one that got released this year. It's a super cool green copy. But this was it. And it was a library copy, and I said I didn't care. I just needed it in my home. And I know it's not worth like $1 bazillion. It's not nearly as expensive as some of my other copies of the books I own, but I really just needed people to talk about this one because I always see the same Netflix copy of Birdbox, which is completely fine. It's all about the story you're reading. Who cares about covers? Sometimes I care about covers, and this is one of those times. I had just put off buying like a physical copy because I just didn't like any of them. They weren't close enough to what like I felt when I read Birdbox. The closest I got was actually a green copy of it. Oh, it's right here. That was released earlier this year. I loved this copy. First time I ever found one like close enough that I thought, man, when I read Birdbox, this is it. This is my beautiful copy. But if you haven't read Birdbox, which I think every Malermatic at this point has read Birdbox, if you haven't, I'm going to read the synopsis for you so you can get a little bit about what it's about, and maybe you can go check it out. Something is out there, something terrifying that must not be seen. One glimpse and a person is driven to deadly violence. No one knows what it is or where it came from. 5 years after it began, a handful of scattered survivors remain, including Mallory and her 2 young children. Living in an abandoned house near the river, Mallory has long dreamed of fleeing to a place where her family might be safe. But the journey ahead will be terrifying, 20 miles downriver in a rowboat blindfolded. I couldn't even do that not blindfolded, so props to Mallory. With nothing to rely on but Mallory's wits and the children's trained ears, one wrong choice and they'll die, and something is following them. But is it a man, an animal, or a monster? Engulfed in darkness, surrounded by sounds both familiar and frightening, Mallory embarks on a harrowing odyssey, a trip that takes her into the unseen world and back into the past, to the companions who once saved her. Under their guidance of the stalwart Tom, a motley group of strangers banded together against the unseen terror, creating order from the chaos. But when supplies ran low, they were forced to venture outside and confront the ultimate question: in a world gone mad, who can really be trusted? Interweaving past and present, Josh Malerman's breathtaking debut is a horrific and gripping snapshot of a world unraveled that will have you racing to the final pages. I remember reading this and thinking, holy crap, is everyone in this book fucking crazy, or is there some kind of like demon, ghost, alien entity that's out here just fucking mowing people down and eating them like they're fucking Cheetos? I don't know. And I don't want to tell you just in case you haven't read it, but there's a sequel if that helps you out knowing what's going on. Birdbox, though, absolute favorite in this edition. Just had to be shown off. So happy reading, and y'all guys have a great rest of your day.